Have you ever put the kettle on and stood there, perhaps pondering over something that you've recently heard, or read, seen on the news, or been told by a friend? Or maybe you've stood there and just pondered and gazed out of the window and wondered over something whilst you're waiting for the kettle to boil. Perhaps this morning you went and put the kettle on rather confused. Perhaps you feel like it's just the same old day, the same old routine of lockdown. Or maybe even you put the kettle on and thought, great, I'm going to be able to go back to school, to college, to uni, or to work. And soon after this announcement, I'll be able to get back to those things. Or maybe secretly, like a lot of us, you think, oh great, I can't wait to go to Mackey's and get the quarter pounder meal, Big Mac meal, or your chicken nuggets Happy Meal. Well, following last night's announcement from the government, I just wanted to reflect back on yesterday's message as part of the live stream service. In summary, yesterday we looked at Ephesians chapter 4 verses 1 to 16, and Michael unpacked the passage and shared how we as Christians are all part of the body of Christ and how that might look in practice. And so I wonder if we were truly united in faith and united in this unity in the faith, hope and belief in Jesus, what might, could or should that look like for us as individuals, for us as the church and the wider world? And secondly, during this morning's staff prayers, a member of the staff team, as we was praying, had this image of almost like loose tea in a cup with boiling water being poured on it. And then they went on to explain what this picture might mean. And in my mind, as they was explaining it, I had a thought of, oh great, I've got some loose tea, I'll make myself a fresh brew afterwards. And as you can tell, I did. But we digress there. Back to my point. They shared that it was almost like, in this image of the loose tea in the cup, that as the water was going in, that was almost like God stirring up the leaves again, stirring up his people again. And that perhaps this stirring up was to raise people up in their faith, to possibly help them regain strength and confidence, and possibly to be inspired and equipped and enthused to share their faith and to re-find it, or maybe to find it in the first place, and also then to go and live it out, using the gifts which he's given us as individuals to create that body of Christ and the church. And so, as you've been watching this this video of a brew being made, why don't you just pause, reflect, and maybe ask God, ask the question and ask God, how are you stirring me? How and in what areas might I need to gain strength? Might I need to be strengthened and brewed? How can I use my gifts to serve the body of Christ, to be the church, and to show Jesus' love to those around me? For just as Paul wrote in Ephesians, I urge you to walk in a manner worthy of the calling which you have been called. We must learn to continue to walk in humility, gentleness and patience, particularly at this time as we begin this new transition of lockdown. And most importantly, we must bear with one another. We must not cause a division amongst ourselves because of our different views or opinions or decisions that may be out of our control, but instead we must be eager to maintain a unity and peace, continuing to show the love of Jesus towards one another, our communities and the wider world. And so in closing, how will you allow God to brew and to stir you today and in the days to come?